What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Now obviously, as you saw from the title, what we're going to be discussing about today is when in your lifting career you should look at purchasing a weight belt. I personally have the double prong 30mm Inzer belt. That's the one I have, and personally, right off the bat, what I personally think is, unless you're going to be competing in a powerlifting event or a strongman event, there is never actually a need to purchase a weightlifting belt. All a weightlifting belt is there for is to maximise your potential to move the heaviest amount of weight possible in a given lift. So if you're squatting, your max without a belt and your max with a belt is always going to be higher. Therefore, the only reason to buy the belt is if you're going to be competing in an event that is going to, the whole name of the game is to allow you to lift the most weight possible. That is the only reason. A lot of people seem to think that belts are injury prevention tools or will help with injuries, and they're not. They're just not whatsoever. So if you're not actually competing in an event where you're going to have to, the whole name of the game is literally just lift as much weight as possible on the day, there's never really a need to buy a belt. If you are just a bodybuilder, so you're never going to compete in an objective sport, it's going to be a subjective sport. If you're a bodybuilder, if you just go to the gym to keep fit, if you just go to the gym because you enjoy going to the gym and you don't class yourself as anything, then you don't actually need a belt. Yes, if you're a bodybuilder, there's arguments that if you wear a belt through all your training, you don't, that if you wear a belt your core might be a little bit smaller than if you don't wear a belt, your core may get a little bit bigger. There's conflicting evidence on that, and my take on it is, personally, I believe that the difference between the two is going to be very, very minimal. You won't notice much difference in the size of your core from wearing a belt or from not wearing a belt, in my own personal opinion. Again, there's conflicting evidence, and it absolutely isn't an injury prevention tool. So if you are going to just go into the gym for fun, or you're going to be competing in bodybuilding or something like that, I would actually just recommend never actually purchasing a belt. I mean, for example, this belt alone cost me, I think, including shipping, I think this belt was like $230, which comes out about like £170. So it's not cheap. It costs a lot of money, and belts always cost money. If you buy stuff like levers, a lot of the time levers may smash. You have to then buy a new lever for the belt, and it can just run you up a lot of bills, and in my opinion it can just run you up money that isn't necessarily needed. So quite frankly, my whole viewpoint is, unless you're going to be competing in powerlifting or a strongman event where you're going to need to move the maximum load on the day, I would not recommend buying a belt. If you are, however, going to be a powerlifter, for example, then I would definitely recommend getting a belt. And it doesn't matter where your strength levels are at that moment, you should just get a belt, because you're going to want your training to be sport specific as possible. And with being sport specific as possible, you're going to need to wear a belt in training. So to me, strength levels have nothing to do with when you should purchase a belt. It should simply come down to, am I just going to the gym for fun, or am I going to the gym just to be a bodybuilder and only step in a bodybuilding stage, or am I actually going to go to the gym because I want to actually compete in a powerlifting event or a strongman event? And if you're going to compete in a powerlifting or strongman event, regardless of your strength levels, I would recommend purchasing a belt, because you're going to want to be sport specific as possible, and it's going to allow you to lift the most weight as possible, which again is going to help aid you in your sport. If you're just going to be stepping on a bodybuilding stage or going for fun, I wouldn't recommend getting a belt, because there's no need for it. It's not going to do anything apart from allow you to lift more weight, and it's probably just not worth the money. But again, if you're on this side and you want to purchase a belt because you still enjoy lifting heavy and you want to know what your own maxes are, then again, there's no one strength where you should buy a belt. You should simply just buy a belt at any strength level you're at, and that is just 100% my take on it. Hope you found this video informative, guys. There's going to be a lot more informative videos coming to the channel over the next few weeks. If you have anything you'd like me to talk about or anything you'd like me to cover, please comment down below. It really helps when you give me questions, as the more questions you give me, the more informative videos I can bang out. I've got quite a few written down on a list. So I hope you found today's video informative, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll speak to all of you guys next time.